What's up, everybody? My name is Nolan, and I've had a lot of people ask me over the course of my YouTube career, what's my favorite weapon in all of Pixel Gun 3D? And since there's like 1,200 weapons, it's really hard to pick just one. So I went through and I found my top 20 personal favorite weapons in Pixel Gun 3D, and I'm going to use them all in this video. So if you guys enjoy this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Pixel Gun content. Wow. And let's just jump into it. Actually, just one more thing. This list is in no particular order. It's just my top 20 favorite weapons. All right, so first up is Combat Overlords. I think that just everything about this primary is pretty much perfect. It looks super cool. It is super satisfying to get kills with. It sounds amazing, and it has really cool attributes. Its mobility is 100, so you can like zip around the map when using this. And probably the coolest thing about this, in my opinion, is the thermal vision. Essentially what that means is when you scope in, enemies are highlighted green and everything else is like a darker color, so it makes it really easy to like spot enemies. If I had to change anything about this weapon, I just slightly increase the damage to make it like one of the best primaries in the game. Even though it might still be one of the best primaries in the game, I don't know, I just feel like the damage isn't the best. However, it's still a really good primary nonetheless, and I use it all the time just because it's so freaking cool. All right, next up is Golden Friend, and the reason why this is one of my favorite weapons in all of Pixel Gun 3D is because if you guys don't know, there used to be a lucky chest where you would get free daily spins to just win free rewards. And essentially, back in the day, this Golden Friend was the only weapon you could win, and you had like a 1 in 1,000 chance of winning it. And I actually won it in the lucky chest. Now, I didn't win it in like the first month of lucky chest coming out. No, it took years of me just spinning every day, but eventually I did win it. And so this weapon was just always like a cool flex, like, hey, look, I actually won this weapon. I did actually have the weapon back when it had like no damage. If you guys don't know, it used to have like 6 damage or whatever, which was super annoying. However, yep, they ended up buffing it, and now it's one of my favorite weapons because it's actually pretty good for getting kills. Next up is Tactical Scorcher, and this primary is just ridiculously cool, and I don't care what anyone says, even after all the nerfs it's had, it's still pretty dang good. I am one of the few people that doesn't care about how overpowered this weapon is because it has weakening and it's just really easy to hit your shots, because you only really get like 1 or 2 kills per clip. So it is actually kind of balanced, and it's just better than spamming the same overpowered one-shot weapons all the time. And I don't know, I just think that this weapon is really cool, and it's super satisfying to get kills with, and it was one of the first weapons that I ever legitimately fully gemmed. I think it ended up costing me like 1,500 gems, maybe like 1,400 gems for this weapon alone. And so when I ended up using it when it was first released, it was 100% worth it. Now, probably not. Mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Next up is Jet Spear. This is probably one of the best movement weapons in all of Pixel Gun 3D, maybe even one of the best melee weapons. In fact, it probably is definitely on my top 10 melees. Not only is it good for getting you around the map quickly, but as you guys can see, it's actually pretty freaking good for getting kills too. If you guys can get good at like leading your shot, you will actually get kills with this. I don't really personally use this for getting kills. I definitely mainly use it for moving around, but unlike the other grapple melees, you don't have to charge this one. It just has a small fixed delay. You switch to it, grapple, and you're good. And that's what I really like about this weapon, and it's pretty just fun. It's just fun to use. So yeah, I really like it. I hope you guys do too. It actually is part of the Tactical Scorcher set, so just like Tactical Scorcher, I had to fully gem this weapon, and it was definitely worth it. Next up is Poisonous Vine. This primary, it's not like the best primary in the game, but I just think it's pretty fun to use. It's got like a slower fire rate, and I think that's why I like it, and it also it looks super cool. If you guys want, you can get this for 1,000 coupons in the gallery right now, and it is pretty good. I think it was recently buffed. However, I could be wrong, but at the same time, I probably would pick other primaries to use over this weapon. I just think it's kind of cool and fun to use. Next up is Blacklight Pistol, and I typically do not like backup weapons at all, so the fact that a backup weapon is even on this list should say, like, this weapon is cool. It is probably one of the coolest looking weapons in all of Pixel Gun 3D, and it's actually pretty dang good for getting kills. I'll be honest, the gameplay in the background is really bad. I'm like kind of sick, guys, so I'm just not like in my A game right now, and yeah, I don't know. But still, I really love this weapon. I just think it's so ridiculously cool, and it's actually pretty fun to use. And the kill animation is pretty cool. They turn to like stardust, I think. I don't really know. Anyways, it's just a cool backup weapon. I really love using it. And yeah. Next up is Thermal Ultrasight. This is a ridiculously cool melee weapon. Again, it's also a veteran's weapon. And yeah, it's just one of the best movement weapons in all of Pixel Gun 3D. It might even be the best. I don't know. It has a really, really low charge time and a really high dash. Basically, it is the best dash weapon in the game. I ranked all the dash weapons, and this definitely was the best. So, I mean, I don't really know if I need to say anything else. It's not even like super overpowered for getting kills. It's just fun to use. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite weapons. Next up is Killer Cord, and this, in my opinion, is probably one of the like most creative weapons in the game. It has its own unique like stream laser thing, which is like a bunch of music notes. It just looks super cool. It's music themed. And I really like music, so I just think it's pretty cool. And it's also good for getting kills. So, I mean, it's just kind of like a win-win for everyone. And I think that this weapon is extremely underrated. I never really see anyone using it, which is just kind of weird. I feel like it is definitely a really good special for getting kills with. So, I don't know why more people don't use this. But if you guys ever get the chance to get your hands on Killer Cord, I highly recommend you do it because it's honestly pretty good. And I think it needs some more recognition. It is hands down... Honestly, if I had to pick any weapon to be my favorite, this might be it. It's just so freaking cool. I love this weapon so much. Alright, next up is going to be Ronin, and I know Adarius just made fun of me for me saying that this was the best charge weapon in the game, but I don't care. This weapon is really satisfying to get kills with, and it's kind of my way of sticking it to the 3-cat community, because this weapon absolutely owns lobbies. It is ridiculously good, and... yeah, I don't really care. It's pretty freaking... I don't even think it like looks that cool. It's just satisfying to get kills with, and it's just good. Next up is Fireflies Blessing, and this is literally just because it's basically Ronin, but better in every way. It looks cooler, it does more damage, and I mean, I guess that's really it. Those are the only two factors. So, I mean, yep, it's just a better Ronin. I'm just kind of stalling so I can show you guys a little bit of gameplay. Okay, that's enough. Alright, next up is Supernova Generator, and I have two really big problems with this weapon. First of all, it doesn't generate supernovas. Those are definitely black holes. That's definitely what those are. I mean, it literally has gravitational force, so it literally like gravitates players in. That's what black holes do. It has like that event horizon thing, which is like what black holes have. So why this is called Supernova Generator beats me. But it's still a ridiculously cool weapon nonetheless. I absolutely love using this weapon. It's just so fun. The second problem that I have with this weapon, it has bloom. It is, like, I tested this theory. It definitely is true. It has bloom. So you are literally at this weapon's mercy for getting kills, which is just so annoying. Like, I don't like that at all. If it was like... if it didn't have bloom, it would probably be one of my favorite I mean, it is one of my favorite weapons, but like probably like top 3 favorite weapons. But because of the inconsistency, it probably would be ranked lower. But still, I love this weapon so much, and it's so fun to use, and it's pretty freaking unique. Next up is Moon Hunter Bow. This is easily one of the best weapons in Pixel Gun. It is a one-shot, not even fully charged, and it charges ridiculously fast. And it has one of the coolest attributes in the game. Acceleration after a kill. So basically, if you get a kill, your movement speed is increased, and that just makes this weapon so ridiculously fun to use, and it's also super cool. So, I mean, I don't know what's not to like about this weapon, because it's not even super toxic to use, because like no one has this weapon. I hardly ever see anyone using it, but it's like hands down probably one of the best weapons in the game. So, I mean, I don't know. The only downside to it is it has travel time. So if you can master that, dude, you're going to win every game with this weapon. It's so good. Next up is Piercing Gaze of Ra. And if you guys think Laser Cat Rifle is good, this weapon is just like slightly worse. And by slightly worse, I mean like literally like 3 or 4 damage worse than Laser Cat Rifle. And it has blinding. It has a little bit worse ammo than Laser Cat, but still, I think this weapon is cooler than Laser Cat. I think it looks cooler, it sounds cooler, and it's just more satisfying to get kills. And to this day, this weapon is still pretty good. And also, just like Laser Cat Rifle, it has no input delay, meaning that you can 3-cat with it really smoothly. You can switch from a weapon like Ultimatum to Piercing Gaze of Ra. And also, like Tactical Scorcher and Jet Spear, this weapon I legitimately spent all of my gems on. Like before, like this was like when I first entered the content creator program. I think like I had to spend all of my gems out of pocket to get this weapon, and it was so worth it, dude. This sniper is incredibly good, and I love it so much. Next up is Laser Carbine, and this is hands down one of the most underrated weapons in the game. That's not really why it's my favorite. I just think this weapon is the cleanest looking weapon in the game. Like, it's just so freaking smooth, and it has no input delay, meaning it's really good for 3-cat, and I'm pretty sure it does like close to 120 damage to a body shot. I'm pretty sure because it was recently buffed by quite a bit. So if you guys will notice, it is like really good for spamming on its own, but it's also really good for 3-cat, making this a really versatile sniper. And you guys can get it for 1,000 coupons in the gallery right now. And so if you have 1,000 coupons, I highly recommend you get this weapon. It is just so ridiculously good and fun to use and super cool looking. Next up is Brutal Rainbow, and there really isn't anything too special about this weapon other than blindness, but I just think that this weapon's really cool looking. That's really the only reason why it's one of my favorite weapons. I just think it looks super cool and it's just fun to use. That's really it. I would really like to see a buff on this weapon because, I mean, I really wouldn't pick this weapon over Anti-Champion Rifle. Next up is Aerosaur Rifle. I just think that this weapon is really cool looking and it sounds super cool, and it actually has a kind of unique laser feature. It has like an animated laser thing, which I just think is cool. I mean, I don't know, there's nothing really too special about this weapon either, other than like I like the color green, and this is a green laser weapon. So for that reason, I'd pick it over other weapons. That's that's really it. That's my simple-minded thought process. And yeah, I mean, it's really nothing special. I just like the weapon. I don't know. Next up is another classic prototype, and I will shout out anyone in the next video who genuinely remembers what the original name of this weapon was. I bet very few people actually remember what it was. But can we just acknowledge this weapon is actually still ridiculously good? Like, how does no one else know that this weapon is honestly kind of overpowered with its high fire rate and one-shot headshot damage? I don't know, man. I think that this weapon's super cool. I don't really like the change that they made where it now has like a, I don't know, a load animation. I just kind of like the OG prototype, but it's still a really cool weapon, and it just gives me some nostalgia, and I love it. I don't know. I upgraded it to legendary, and it performs absolutely amazing. So I definitely need to use this weapon more. Next up is another classic, Antigravity Blaster. I honestly have always thought that this weapon was just super satisfying. It looks cool, it sounds cool, and upgrading this weapon to Mythical was one of the best decisions I ever made because it's really good for getting kills, and it's also good for rocket jump, meaning it's good for 3-cat, it's good for getting kills, and like I said, it's just good for everything like rocket jump and getting kills and 3. I'm just repeating myself. Anyways, Anti-Gravity Blaster. It's a really cool heavy weapon. Definitely upgrade it to Mythical if you guys can. I don't even know if you can buy this weapon anymore, but it was worth it. I don't know. I love this weapon. Next up is Event Horizon, and I think that this weapon is super cool, and unlike how unbalanced the Solar Flare and T-Flare used to be, for a plasma rocket weapon, I'd say that this weapon is pretty balanced. It doesn't have a whole lot of ammo, and you actually have to like hit direct shots in order for this weapon to like be really good. But once you get that down, it's a pretty good weapon, and I just think it's really cool. And actually, you guys can see that this actually shoots a black hole, which has a black hole themed name. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm pretty sure that every weapon in this set has been in my favorite weapons, like Blacklight Pistol, Event Horizon, and Supernova Generator. They've all been on this list. So, I mean, whatever set that this was a part of was a really good set because all these weapons are my favorite. All right, and for the last weapon, we're going with Streaming Beast. This is a Mr. Beast themed weapon, which automatically makes it pretty cool. And the design of it is pretty much flawless, and its animation is pretty cool. And it's a stream beam weapon, so it's overpowered. So I mean, I don't know what's not to like about this weapon. It's also not really like super overpowered. So I mean, you can't really be toxic about it like you can Ronin or Fireflies Blessing. And also, not a lot of people have it, so it's not really too much of a spamming problem. But I don't know. I think that this weapon's pretty cool, and it's just one of my favorite weapons, just because it's cool. So yeah, guys, that's gonna end the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Pixel Gun content. And also, if you're still watching, leave a comment letting me know what your guys' favorite weapons are. I am actually kind of curious what you guys like to use in pixel gun. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching again. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.